Hey folks, welcome back to Ambassador Talk. This is the Air Force Wounded Warriors program, letting ambassadors speak to other ambassadors who have gone through the training, have wanted to share their story, but finally have an output to do so. Today, our first guest is Master Sergeant Andre Sanchez-Romero. Welcome to the show, and I hope you're doing good over there at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam.
Yes, sir. It's nice, warm. It's still in the morning, but it's starting to heat up, so it feels pretty good out here. So I appreciate you, sir. Thanks.
Very good, very good. So, we did talk before this meeting, and I wanted to find a little bit more about yourself. And apparently, family is at the core of what you do and why you do it.
Yes, sir.
So tell me
So,
about it. How is your family digging the assignment?
so initially, it was another tour outside of the state, so outside of home, which is Midland, Texas. So at first, it was kind of hard to kind of get our footing. Um, Also, when we first got here, I was a little sick, so we couldn't do a lot of things that we could usually do or normally do. So they started liking it. And then after the pandemic started getting to where it's at now, a lot of things were restricted, so we really couldn't do as much. But fast forward to the last couple of months, and the family's really digging it now. I mean, we're so close to the beach to where we can actually relax for the day. A lot of the things that you can do around Waikiki or any other towns around the island, for the most part, everything's inviting, and everything either reminds us of home or it's something new that we can actually relate to or start digging. So it's like right now, May 2021, we're liking it. So we're enjoying where we're at.
So, Andre, you forgot the biggest and best part about this conversation. The food is on point.
It is. What I like is a lot of the food. There's some similarities rather with how I grew up and what you can get here. So I'm loving that piece, and I'm seeing there's other ways to enjoy those same type of foods, and I'm loving it. I got to get the PT in a little bit more, but at the same time, it's pretty good. I'm starting to enjoy the local cuisines a lot.
So I do ask you about your past and your future, obviously, because as you make your way through your assignment, there's more adventures to come. But as positive as you are today, right, and as much as you are enjoying your assignment, at the beginning of the assignment, it wasn't as clean and cut, right? Things weren't going the way that you thought they were going to, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Can you step us through some of the things that eventually led you through the virtual doors of the Air Force Wounded Warrior Program?
So back in 2018, I was actually assigned in Turkey, in Slick, Turkey, and right before I left in May, actually, I got sick. I had a diverticulitis flare up. I had checked out. I had been checked for it before. I had a diverticulosis. I just had to watch. Doctors told me what to watch, what to eat, what not to eat, just to prevent a flare up. So I had a flare up. I was in the hospital for 3 days. Had some my team, my security forces training team. They took good care of me at the hospital and took good care of me afterwards. Eventually, I PCS. Probably a week after I got home, in between my travels from Turkey to Hawaii, I got sick again. And this time, I was hospitalized in the hospital in Midland, Texas, for 11 days. So
So
while
you
there,
you did tell me the name of these conditions, which I couldn't pronounce on my best day. Could
yes,
you
sir.
could you go a little bit in depth on what those ailments were and how they affected you and your status?
Okay, so the diverticulitis, it's a flare up of the lower intestine. When you get a flare up, it's an unbearable pain. You're kind of doubled over, your stomach, you're just in a lot of pain. Also comes with fever and the fatigue, body aches. It really knocks you out. What I had in Turkey wasn't as bad. It was a flare up, but I was able to sit up in the hospital and kind of talk when I was in Texas, and it was a bigger flare up with abscess, meaning that one of those pockets in my intestine was inflamed and infected. So which involved a longer hospital stay. That was the pain was almost double to where it was hard to move, hard to be comfortable, and that was painful. I think what was so that's what took me to the hospital. Um, in order for them to see the intestine, they had to do a CAT scan. And the first CAT scan I got at the hospital. Uh, so it's crazy because I'm from Texas, and a lot of my family would watch telenovelas. If y'all not familiar with it, it's the Mexican soap operas. And usually they have a doctor, real suave, very handsome, slick back hair. Well, that was my doc. And I thinking back now, it's almost like a telenovela where he comes into the room, tells me about the results of my CAT scan. He tells me how the flare up is going, and then he tells me that they found something else in my kidney. And my wife was sitting right next to me, and when he said that it could be renal cell carcinoma, for one, I didn't know what that was initially. A quick Google told me that it was cancer. So he told me about the size of it, what it looked like, and um, basically they're gonna start talking with urology to give me more consults about what they can do. With the big factor of me being military and me actually not actually living in Midland, Texas. So after the doctor, he gave us the news. We walked out, and I think that's where for that second, the pain of that my stomach, it subsided because again, like I told you earlier, I had an expiration date now. It's one of those how much longer do I have? I know it's not going to be long. It's going to be long. I didn't know those answers, and I just remember looking to my wife. My wife looked at me. We started crying because it was just one of those things that we didn't expect to hear in our lifetimes. So yeah, that's what happened at the hospital. They kept on checking up on taking a look at the renal cell carcinoma, uh, just giving me more updates on it. I eventually got better from the flare up to where the diverticulitis, to where I can get out of the hospital and actually fly from Texas, taking that 12-hour, 10-hour trip from Texas all the way to Oahu. And luckily, I was able to see a doctor pretty soon after I got here. But I was still pretty beat up, and I wasn't. We would go out to Waikiki or try and go to the beach, but I was still fatigued. I was not really able to enjoy myself, and my family was right there enjoying it, but I could see sometimes we had to leave early because it just wasn't going well that day. So
So when you were talking to the doctor, did they tell you that this would be something that would be life altering? As and Obviously the news of any cancer is life altering. Some can be treated, some can be mitigated, some can be removed.
yes.
Which path were you destined to go on?
So initially they said that it can be removed, that it was small enough, but there was that one factor of the location. And so talking to the docs here in Oahu up at Tripler Medical Center, they were telling me that they give you the risk of the surgery. So they said if I wanted the surgery, they can do it. And so where kidneys are like beans, it just they just weren't sure of how much of that bean they would have to cut out, and the risk of going to the I am not a doctor by any means. So the risk of going into the part of the kidney that actually works, the risk is there. And so they asked me, do I want to just wait it out and take medication, or do I want the surgery, um, knowing that risk? So I elected to have the surgery, thinking, am I going to walk out with my kidney? Another thing is the means of the surgery. So what I thought was they were going to lay me on my stomach and make a hole in my back and do the surgery like that. They didn't do that. They used a robot to go through my stomach to the kidney. So another factor was the amount of surgical incisions from the robot that would be in my stomach. Um, After the surgery, it was pretty hard to get back to normal. Like to get to that PT standard of doing so many sit-ups and running, in jiu-jitsu. Like I said, I like to do that, and it was hard to do all that because my core was affected. I wasn't really able to do what I wanted to do after the surgery.
Well, sure, they broke through the walls that line your lower intestines. Obviously, the recovery for all sort of major surgery is going to take some time. But my question for you is, along this road, when did you and AFDW, or sorry, AFW2, when did we intersect with each other? The transition from patient to support with caregivers.
Okay, so I was told about the program shortly after my surgery, and initially I did not know about the Air Force Wounded Warrior program. I and when I was told about it, I thought it's not really for me. I think I'm okay now. So months went down the line, and eventually I tried to do a medical clearance paperwork up at the hospital. In waiting for my clearance paperwork, my Air Force Form 422 to come back, I got an email saying that I'm undergoing an MEB. I didn't know why. Come to find out, and my doctor didn't know why either. So there's some processes that just didn't work out. But ultimately, it was because of the cancer diagnosis from the year prior. So in 2019. So that was it really stressed me out, for lack of a better term. I didn't know really what to do. And while I consider myself a pretty resilient person with a good core of like my members of my board, I felt alone, and I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. So uh, maybe a couple weeks later, or while I'm undergoing this MEB, a wingman of mine talks to me about the Winter Warrior program again. And like almost concurrently, I get an email from Mr. Cisco Johnson. He's the PACAF Winter Warrior program caregiver here. And it was meant to be this all call to the first sergeants to say, let me brief the program to your units. So I'm looking at the email, and I just thought to myself, well, let me give it a shot. Let me email this guy and tell him what was going on. And he sends me emails, he sends me forms, and we connect. And I think that was the day that, okay, I'm in the program. You know, he did his due diligence to get my information, submitted it to San Antonio, and when it came back, I was in the program. And it's something that I regret not doing earlier, because I think a lot of the stressors and that I had before, probably would have been mitigated or better handled.
That's one of the main reasons we do Ambassador Talk just in general. There is a
Yes.
preponderance of folks out there that have no clue that this bevy of and suite of services and support and programs are available to folks that had a medical diagnosis just like you, or
Mhm.
were in a serious accident, but is not combat related. I mean, we are called the Air Force Wounded Warrior Program, but in essence, all airmen are warriors, and this is how we take care of them when they
Cool.
go through the life's ups and downs that um, you just can't do by yourself. So again, I appreciate you giving some insight into your story. That you had a friend that referred you. Your regional care coordinator also reached out to you, and then you took that leap of faith and said, "This might be a program that could help me." So
Mhm.
those are
Yes,
all
sir.
huge things for. And for folks that are tuning in right now, if you think, or you have a friend or coworker or even a boss that could qualify, just head over to woundedwarrior.af.mil. There is a button right there where you can register or apply to register yourself or refer a friend. So
Cool.
going back to you, Andre, quick question. So at this point in your life, there's a lot of drama going on. You've got your own internal demons that you're trying to fight. You're feeling alone. I'm assuming that the communication between you and your family is not 100% because you are not feeling 100%.
Mhm.
So the world is not working the way it's supposed to. What now?
Yes. Ah, oh, good question. Now it was I think that's why I didn't have that guidance when I was, yeah, like you said, I wasn't really firing all cylinders. Out of a almost 20-year career, the last 2 years have been trying. It's not what it was. I've had my ups and downs. I am by no means a perfect airman, but I think living by my personal core values and the Air Force core values has made me to be proud of what I do. And going through the bulk prior to the Winter Warrior, being involved with the Winter Warrior program, it was stressful, and the family wasn't really talking to me. Or let me rephrase that: they were talking to me. I just wasn't really hearing them. I just, like I said, I had too many of those internal stressors, and I think I just wasn't telling my side as far as what I was feeling. But since I've had this outlet and I've had the resources provided to me, and what I can do to better myself, it's I hope I say this correctly. It's made me a better person. It's made me a better husband, a better father, a better airman, a better wingman, a better mentor to others. Because of the resources that were afforded to me, I was able to kind of understand, okay, I'm having this issue, or I'm having this type of mental thought. Where do I go from here? What do I do? And I'm looking for a checklist, but sometimes I don't have a checklist. However, the resources we get gives us that kind of like guidance, and says, it's not the way to do things, but it's a way. So let's try this way and see if it works out. If not, plethora of other ways are available to you to get to where you want to be, which
No,
is commensurate with your core values.
I dig with what you're saying because for the most part, and this is not all encompassing, when a
Yes.
member or someone that you know goes through trauma, disease, an accident, something that a medical condition that can't be explained and or returning from combat,
Cool.
talking about it,
Mm,
as simple as it sounds, talking about it is step one, right? Desensitizing yourself to just really bad experiences. I mean, we have members within the Air Force Wounded Warrior Program that are victims of MST. We have folks that are victims of domestic violence. We have people that have missing limbs, but then some others that have, like in your case, were diagnosed with cancer. It's about taking care of the family. It's a
yes.
family business, and it's about taking care of the family. And so one of the things I'd like to mention, and this is especially for your case, you went through the program, you found out the resources, and one in particular spiked your interest, the ambassador program. That's what we're here doing right now, and that's why we share vocally to each other. Not a lot of people are as confident to do it, but of course we are here to encourage them to share their story. The
Yes.
stories that you heard when you yourself went through ambassador training, how did that change you knowing that you weren't alone?
It helped me actually. I think when I did my ambassador training, I was the first to go. Like when we gave our story, like part of the training, it was okay, I've done this before, and I heard the feedback. When I heard my fellow warriors give their stories, it was like I was listening. I was so in there, and like in that moment, and like I felt for them. They were in my prayers, because it's a continuous, not so much a struggle, but it's a continuous journey, and it, it helped me to understand that while my world can seem like it's crumbling, I'm not the only person in this world, and I think we're only stronger, just like a chain link. We're only stronger if we're together in this, and for the most part, leaving that training, and you haven't heard like the beginning, the middle, and not so much the end, but the continuation of their journeys. It fired me up. I told anybody who would listen that day that it's still pretty early afternoon here when we were done with the training, and I was like, I'm fired up. I wanna do good things. I wanna ensure that people are knowledgeable and they have the resources, have good resources.
Yeah, there's a strange phenomenon. It's not just indicative of the military. It is through human society. When you are walking and you are wounded, when you are walking and you are hurt, there's not a lot of things that give you more strength. You could have, caffeine, you could hydrate yourself with water, you could eat something with protein to give you energy. But something else that makes someone stronger is picking up someone else that is also hurt.
Cool.
It's crazy. It's like going on
I
a 15-mile ruck march, and if you're tired and hurt, but someone else needs your help, you instantaneously get more strength than that. I feel like the ambassador program helps warriors help each other. No one condition is worse or better or 10 times more extreme or less extreme that would prevent you from obviously joining up and becoming an alumni. We're all here to, of course, share our stories. And that's just not to paint a wide brush and say everyone's equal. It's just saying everyone deserves the support, whether it's top of the spectrum or bottom of the spectrum. So, again, if you do have friends or family that are interested, that would like to learn more, just please direct them to www.woundedwarrior.af.mil. I feel like I'm selling something, like on one of those infomercials at night, but I promise you it's not hokey. It's definitely a good program to get invested in. So, back to you, Andre, again. We're going to ask you at this point now, after the training, after your life and the experiences that you've had, your ups, your downs, your communications, with friends and family that had their own ups and downs. I'm assuming somewhere along those lines you had an epiphany, and you told me that you had a point in your life where you said, I don't want to dwell on myself anymore, I want to do good. So in that moment, what message did you craft? What message do you want to share with the folks and friends and family that are tuning in today?
uh, if you can live by one word, um, like for so long in your life, that one word should be in my for me to listen. Listening, not hearing, but to listen. It helps you to better understand others, better understand situations, and better understand how those situations affect them. Uh, you know, we have so many differences, and that's what makes us such a beautiful people. Is we have different ways of life. However, the one thing we can all do that's like through every single language is to listen to one another, and I think that's what really helps people to understand if there's something going on, where can I direct them by listening to this, person, this one individual specific problems or issues, what they're going through. Quite possibly, you can refer them to the Winter Warrior program. And like I said, that button in that website, it is so easy to get to and so easy to fill out. And that's doing a little smart part to possibly having a big impact to somebody else. And all that's done just by listening. And I want to, in me doing this, being an ambassador, I want to give my side, give the experience of Andre Sanchez-Romero, what he went through, and his initial thought. Most importantly, is the initial thought. Like I said, I didn't think the program was for me initially. I took that step when I was told again. So it was like someone kind of pulling me by my ear again, saying, "Hey, I tried the first time, didn't work out. Here, try the second time." And I mean, that's how I'm here today. So long story short, or to bring it back way, just to listen. You listen to others, you'll probably make a big impact. And probably your actions just based on listening can be a even bigger impact.
Andre, I appreciate all of your thoughts and your feelings and your perspective on these things because I agree with just about every single thing that you said. So I
Well,
definitely appreciate you and the
appreciate
things
it.
that you've gone through and the fact that you're still here sharing your message today. I also really like the fact that you were talking about humanity as a beautiful people. I
Mhm.
oftentimes call Melissa Wiest and John Fernandez beautiful people too because of the care and love that we get from the support staff that belongs to AFW2. That I brag on them as many times as I possibly can. Um, Whether it is folks that are helping with adaptive sports, the resiliency initiatives and programs to the ambassador program and or even the mentor program, there's lots of different ways that you can be involved in the Air Force Wounded Warrior program and find something that's going to help you get on the right path. So again,
Well,
I'm not going to mention that website one more time because I think they could rewind and go back to it. But I would like to say to you, Andre, thank you for your service. Thank you for your continued support of airmen through messaging like programs that we're doing today. Is there anything I forgot to ask you or anything you'd like to add and or shout outs you'd like to put out there?
I so I think to tell others, to find that hobby, to find that what brings you peace, what brings value to you, to adhere to your values. Us in the Air Force, every service component, we have our core values, and I think what makes our three little core values so nice is the tenets under those core values that you're able to apply your personal core values to them. I do what I do for my family. I want to be a good influence. I want them to have a role model that they can look up to, and I want them to know and understand that to be ambitious, but if you hit a roadblock, to say, hey, it's okay, because there's going to be other people right next to you. It's not somebody you're probably going to grow up with. It's probably somebody you're going to meet at your first duty station or your next house you move to, your neighbors. But if someone's always going to help you, it's just the ability to trust, and all that just falls in line with the values. The I think one thing that's kept me real centered, aside from my family, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, and it's a big part of who I am, is the teammates that I've trained jujitsu with. Through other parts of my life where I was in a low place training, and the people I met up there, Warner Robins, Georgia, my old Zanchin South jiu-jitsu teammates, they really helped me out. They took me out of a bad place and gave me that state of mindfulness and brought me back to who I am. And even through this journey, my new teammates here at CGJF Central down in IAEA, they've been a big help. And every day, just if I don't go train, I just interact with those folks. They put me back into a center and remind me this. I need to stick to my values. If I stick to my values, all the other obstacles, all the other stressors are just they just go over the head like hair gel. So it's um I think short and sweet. I give a lot of credit to not only my family but to my jiu-jitsu teammates, every single leader, every single mentor I've had, and all the airmen and NCOs that I've had the honor of working with. That I could stay here for an hour and name each individually, but I hope people understand if they're looking at at this video for, see what I want to say. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to you, Chiefs. Thank you for what you do. And thank you to the whole team. And Cisco Johnson up here in PACAF. He's been a big help, and I truly cherish the fact that I got to know him. So
No, that sounds good, Andre, and I appreciate you obviously sharing a little bit of your testimony. I would look forward to doing it in person and seeing you speak in front of large crowds of airmen, civilians, and family members to share your story and your testament. I hope you continue to do so, and obviously, you and I will stay connected as time goes on. So, with that said, I'd like to thank folks that are tuning in today, where we have our opportunity to prove what AFW2 can do for you. I'm Jason David. We'll see you guys next time.